A doctor?
You are the doctors.
A lawyer?
Objection! Sustained.
No further questions.
A detective?
A low self-esteem, tiny IQ, and a limited life expectancy, and you think he's an audacious criminal mastermind.
Or a chef?
Guys, big night tonight. You all know what's happening? Yeah?
Who do you want to be? And what if it's a bit more complicated in picking a job or an industry? Today I will share with you 10 questions that will help you find a job that's right for you. Yes, you've heard me. We will talk about your working style, your strengths, and your values. And based on the answers, what job would make sense? I'll share with you the questions, I'll give you a bit more context, I'll dive into my previous jobs. I've worked in tech, in consulting, in the traditional industry, all to help you find a job that's right for you.
The Macintosh, Apple's near-mythological home computer, has gotten off to a rocky start in its battle with industry titan IBM.
With sales originally projected to be 1 million in the first quarter, Apple has sold only 35,000.
6. Risk. 2 products. Which one would you rather work on? Number 1, a moonshot. A product that can revolutionize, change the entire world. But a really tiny chance of success. Or a small improvement to an existing product. Honestly, no one's gonna fail. But the upside is really tiny. And as you look at it, are you more risk-loving or more risk-averse? And then as you think about the job, how important are safety, regulations? Is it more a new industry or an old industry? Let's assume pharma, aviation, energy. On average, all those companies have way more regulations to deal with than, for instance, tech company, and they will be way more risk-averse than an average tech company. It's not to say that within pharma you cannot have breakthrough products. It's just to say that the overall tone of the company will be a bit more risk-averse.
Let's talk about what you're gonna do tonight. Throwing a party, I hope. Inviting hundreds of bikers and lowlifes who are gonna trash the place.
I'm going to do laundry, watch TV, order Indian food, and go to bed early.
7. Introversion versus extroversion. Let's assume you're going to a party, you know only a few people. What would you do? Would you stay within your close group of friends and entire night just hang together? Or would you go and mingle, get to know everyone? I mean, why not to? What would you do? And then as you think about the job, how often would you have to deal with external clients? Or as you think about your day-to-day, would it be mostly you work on your own or you work with others? And I know, the best example, 2 opposites, being an engineer where you can be on your own, probably for an entire month, or a sales rep that would be constantly banging the phone. But the differences are sometimes less straightforward. So let me give you an example. For a long time, I wanted to be a journalist. Funny thing is, I am really shy. Picking up the phone and dialing, not my thing. Yet, if you think about being a journalist, there is quite some part of picking up the phone and quite some part of doing the small talk. And I would have been terrible at it. So again, take the job and think about how much of the responsibilities would be related to other people.
Mark!
He's wired in.
Sorry?
He's wired in.
Is he?
Yes.
Question number 8. In a typical group discussion, would you normally hold a strong opinion? Even if you know that others disagree and you might have a tough discussion? Or would you kind of try to mitigate all the differences, kind of bring people together, smoothen out whatever is going on? More real life example, let's imagine your neighbor or your roommate Tommy is really loud. What would you do? Would you just approach them, be direct, say, hey dude, it's loud, what are we going to do about it? Or would you tiptoe around for a couple of days, couple of weeks, not sure what to do about it because you're honestly not good in sharing something bad? What would you do? And then let's think about the job. Would you be working with external clients? Or would you be working on a quite important project for the company? The more people involved, the higher the visibility, most probably the more potential conflict and the more hard discussions are going to be. So be ready.
7 a.m. here, but we've been working on it for 3 hours.
We?
Hi, Beth.
Lone wolf. That's probably the most difficult question in this set, but it is quite important. So let's do it together. So the question here is, as you look at yourself, what kind of environment do you prefer to work in? More of a team spirit, where you know that you can count on others, you know that you can bring any questions and any issues, and someone will be there to help you. And the same, you'll be always willing to help others. Or more of a, I'm here doing my best, working on my own, I know that I can count on myself, and I'll really try to do it, but I'm also expecting others to kind of do their job and not bother me. So more of a team spirit, or more of the individual worker. And now as you look at the job, 2 questions. Number 1, would this job have a clear criteria and kind of be competing against other people? So again, sales job, very often you are going to meet lone wolves, you know, you are competing against others, you have your own sales number. So it's really about the individual performance. 2, how important is the what versus the how? So as you look at the company culture, as you talk to your future manager or even to your future team, how important would be what you actually achieve versus how you get there? Last one, I'm so excited, you're almost there. So question here, role fit. Firstly, let's talk about the job, then let's talk about you. So number 1, as you think about your potential job, what do you think are the 3 most important things that would make someone successful in this job? Let's write them down. And then 2, how would you rate yourself on those things? What would be your weakest point? What would be your strongest point? And in general, would you say you're like an A class or like a C minus? What do you think? So now the part you've been waiting for, I've been waiting for, which is some real life examples. I've worked in tech, in consulting, and in the traditional industry. So those are the 3 jobs I'm going to go through. Completely different environments, completely different pace. So just great for comparison. If you have little working experience, now is the time to just sit down and think, okay, I think it's going to be a bit like this, a bit like that, a bit like that, and kind of build a picture of what you think a day in life or week in life would look like and think, okay, do I see myself doing this or not? So I hope this will be helpful. Job number 1, consulting. First thing that comes to my mind when I think about consulting is projects, project-based work. And projects mean a couple things, so let's unpack it right now. First thing, projects are done for clients. And this client typically paid a lot of money to get you and the other consultants and share your expertise. And sometimes they won't be happy with your recommendations. So you have to be ready for some dose of difficult conversations, tough negotiations, and feel okay with the fact that not always you'll be on the same page. 2, projects mean deadline. I mean, you and client agreed on a certain date, you're going to deliver something. So if you're the person who loves the adrenaline, who loves pulling all-nighters, who loves having busy season and then kind of a slower time, you're going to do great. I've learned that I am not a deadline working person. I freeze in front of my laptop and this is the worst time for me to do any kind of great work. But if you are the person that really stays focused knowing that the clock is ticking, you're going to love it. And then 3rd thing, projects mean some variety. While you're going to use the same tools or the same skills or certain program management frameworks, your job with every single client will be different. And you might love one of the projects, you might love one of your clients. 2 months later, you'll find yourself dealing with another problem, another client in a completely different location, and you might not like it. So maybe not day to day, but as you move from a project to a project, there will be a lot of changes going on. Next thing when I think about consulting is definitely some competition. So you're often going to join a pool of consultants and you'll be stacked against each other. So if you're a person that likes knowing I am the best, it's going to be great. And the last thing, projects mean that you always find something for you. So whether you're a toward person or a way person, short-term oriented or long-term oriented, there will be projects that will perfectly fit with your preferences. This also means that sometimes you're going to be dreading every single day and you'll be just waiting till the project is over. So there's just something that you have to deal with and be okay knowing that now is the time, that I'm really enjoying it. different project might mean that I really won't like it. Job number 2, tech. Because I worked in sales, that's the perspective I'm going to use. So let's do it. Sales means money. Sales means revenue. And so what you're going to focus on is, how do I bring more deals? How do I bring better deals? How do I bring in deals faster? But the focus is always on revenue. So if you're a toward person, you're thinking, how do I increase the pie? You're going to love it. Number 2, life in tech is short-lived. You're going to think about, what can I do in the next 3 to 12 months to make the change, to make the impact. So if you like rolling up your sleeves and thinking, okay, how do I make changes within the next months, within the next weeks? How do I make it happen? You're going to love it. And then the last thing, tech means mostly new products. So you're launching products, you bring it to the market, you don't know if the pricing is good, you don't know if the customer is going to like it, you don't know if you have to change any features. And once you figure out everything, you're going to start lower. You're going to have a new product and again go through the same cycle. What's the pricing? What's the feature? Where are the markets, etc. So in general, there will be a lot of change, a lot of unpredictability. Very often you sign up for a job and 6 months in, you're like, okay, I'm actually working on something else. So if you like change, if you like trying different things, if you like the novelty, you're going to love it. But if you're someone that wants to have very clear understanding what the job is and know, okay, in 6 months I'm going to do this, in a year I'm going to do that, that's not going to be the case. Now, last job, energy industry, or we can also talk about more traditional industry. So first thing that comes to my mind is a more regular, non-project oriented work. So think about it, your job, your team probably has been around, you haven't been there, but someone else was doing this job. You come in, it's very clear, here are the things I need to do daily or weekly or monthly. So there is some schedule to it. If you like knowing what you're signing up for, probably a regular, more established job will be great. Number 2, think about the industry. So when I think about energy, it's probably very long-term oriented and very risk averse. And whatever is the industry will set the tone, will set the culture within the entire company. So when I think about energy, when I think about the job I had, a lot of people within the company, a lot of processes are focused on maintaining or slowly upgrading everything that's happening. It's not a big bang approach where we change everything at once, but more, here is the company, here is what we have. How do we slowly bring change in? And then 3, because of my job, but that's again the perspective that I had, the job was really on the supporting side. It was in IT, supporting, mostly cost-driven. So you mostly think, okay, how do I cut the cost? How do I bring the cost of IT down? And that's it for today. I hope this was useful and let me know in the comments which question is your favorite. Looking forward to hearing.